Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shade 45.
Wake your punk ass up. That crust out, y'all.
Are you running late for work?
Oh, you haven't been watching the news.
We've got you covered. It's the Daily News on Sway in the Morning.
That's right, Sway in the Morning, Shade 45, ladies and gentlemen, and he's here. He's here. The one and only Mike Muse. Mike!
Hey.
Wait a minute, he's not here.
Good morning, guys.
Wait, Mike, Mike, you're not here, Mike? Once again.
I'm not there. I'm there, but not there.
Where are you, Mike? Where in the world is Mike Muse?
Yes, I am still in Los Angeles, California right now.
Mike, what are you doing in L.A., man? Tell the truth.
I launched my program with USC Film School and HBO. And the film program allows young people of color the opportunity to learn the art of filmmaking for free. And at the end of this institute, they'll be able to have made a short film. So I'm excited. It's a follow-up to the partnership I did with the Oscars at the end of last year, where I brought students from like South Central LA and Compton together to understand all the entrepreneurial aspects of the film industry. So this is just a continuation of that. So really excited to have launched it this Saturday.
See, that's a prime example of our first topic this morning. We were talking about this earlier, Mike Muse, and I think you personified this whole conversation about fake it till you make it, because I know you don't know nothing about film, and look how far it's taken you. Mike, give him a round of applause, man.
Tough crowd this morning. Tough crowd.
Man. Hey, man, congratulations, Mike, on the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Say hello to our guest, Karen Hunter. She's here. She's from Urban View, 7 to 9 p.m.
Hey,
Sirius XM Insight. Every single day, Monday through Friday. She's on from 3 to 6 p.m.
Yep.
ET on Sirius XM Urban View, 7 to 9 p.m. I'm doing this right, right? Yes. Karen Hunter. Welcome, Karen Hunter.
Good morning. Thank you.
Have Mike Muse and you ever crossed paths?
Never.
Wow, you two need to
No.
know
We
each
do.
other.
That's why I came in. I drove all the way from Jersey on 2 wheels just to meet him, and then he's not in the studio.
He's not in the studio, man.
Yeah, she said Mike Muse is being fancy. Karen wanted to know, what's his deal?
Yeah.
Karen, I am so sorry I disappointed you.
That's all right. We'll meet when Sway will make it happen.
We'll make it happen, man. We'll make it happen. Karen, you here to share with us this brand new app that you're working with, right?
Yeah, I'm super excited. We have a tech initiative on our show, Tech Tuesday. We own tech, hashtag We Own Tech. After Van Jones came on talking about the initiative, he and Prince were in collaboration on to get 1 million young African-American kids to learn how to code. I jumped on and I said, well, with our audience is active. Let's do a tech initiative. So every Tuesday we have a tech guest, and then we have a Tech Tuesday. We have all kind of guests coming through. And I said, well, why don't we do an app? Since we have a political movement, let's do a political app. So Party of Lincoln, we launched it on the iPhone. So if you have an iPhone, Heather, you got
No,
you
got it. I got an iPhone.
You got an iPhone. All right.
Party of Lincoln.
Party of Lincoln. Go into the App Store.
Okay.
And download Party of Lincoln. And what's really cool about it, I didn't want it to be a partisan thing, and I didn't want it just to be for this election cycle.
Yeah.
So what you can do, you can pick your state, register to vote, change your party affiliation. You can track legislation through the Party Lincoln app. In the Act section, we have a petition that I wrote to restore voting rights to disenfranchised nonviolent felons, because throughout the country, from state to state, if you get out, and that was inspired by Kimba Smith, the young lady who was sentenced to 25 years in prison, and Bill Clinton pardoned her, but she couldn't vote once she got back to Virginia. So she had to move to another state. And I'm like, why? If you paid your debt, you should have a clean slate, right? And the next move is to remove the box. If you paid your debt to society, you shouldn't have to check a box if you've ever been convicted of a felony, because either you're guilty for the rest of your life or you're not. We also just added 6 new buttons on there yesterday, which I'm really happy about. So if you want to run for office, you can go on our app. We can support you.
Wow, DB.
Yeah, that's powerful. Wait, hold on. Let me just open it up.
DB could run for office through this app, right?
Through this app. You can run for office. You can track legislation. You can contact members of Congress. You can also check facts. Right? You can check all of the polls that are out right now. So if you want to find out if Donald Trump is lying about something, you can go on the Party Lincoln app, check the facts. We through PolitiFacts, we have, added that to the app as well. And then we have a great thing if you're a teacher or you just want to know stuff. Because this is about, if you're not really active in politics, Party of Lincoln app will help you learn about things that are happening.
Party of Lincoln. So we could go on, go into search.
Go in the App Store.
Yep.
iPhone, Party of Lincoln, and download it. It's free. Okay. What we have in the Learn section are audio and video. So we have Ken C. Davis, who's the historian from Don't Know Much About History and a whole bunch of other books. He's done everything for What is the Electoral College?
Yeah.
What is that? Well, click on the video.
And you can find out.
Okay.
Right. Karen Hunter came in. You hear that, Mike Muse? How useful you think that'll be for you? Are you going to download it?
I don't have an iPhone. So I'm not an iPhone guy.
Ooh, we can
I
get
need
boost.
Samsung.
Son. Yeah, Mike Muse.
No, we're doing the Android version. But, what I learned with this tech thing is that we really aren't at 2% of tech is 2% of us.
Yeah.
And finding app
when
developers.
You say us, you mean people of color?
People of color,
Okay.
2%.
Okay.
That's ridiculous. That's where most of the money is made right now, right? So
Yeah.
we got to get in it. But what I'm finding on the back end is that we don't have a lot of folk who can do this at the level that we need to have it done. I went through 4 app developers just to get this one done.
Wow.
We initially set out to get both the Android and I'm like, just get something done.
Okay.
Let's get
All right.
something done.
Karen Hunter, is Party of Lincoln app. Make sure you go to the App Store now and get that app. We're going to come back and talk politics with Karen and Mike Muse. It's Sway in the Morning, Shade 4-5.
Now more of the daily news on Sway in the Morning.
All right, Karen Hunter is here from the Karen Hunter Show, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. On SiriusXM Urban View, 7 to 9 p.m. On SiriusXM Insight. And Mike Muse is here. Mike. Now, I know you're in L.A., but I know you, Mike, and I was texting you last night when Fox News is making Kelly was interviewing Donald Trump, and he said he respected her. She was the only one that set up an olive branch meeting. He said, I got great respect for you that you were able to call me and say, let's get together, let's talk. She didn't pull no punches. I thought it was an interesting interview and got to hear a little bit about Donald's personal life. And here's some of the things they said. Check this out.
When I'm wounded, I go after people hard, okay? And I try and unwound myself. You got to get over it. Fight back. Do whatever you have to do.
Bimbo?
Well, there was a retweet. Yeah, did I say that?
Many times.
Ooh, okay. Excuse me. Not the most horrible thing, again, politically, but not the most. Over your life, Megan, you've been called a lot worse.
Oh, wow. Man, this dude is classic, man. Yo, she was like, why you call me a bimbo? I didn't call you that. She said, you retweeted people calling me bimbo, bro. He said, excuse me.
You've been called a lot worse, Mike Muse.
You've been called worse than that. Come on, Megan. What was this all about? Was this an attempt for a makeover for Donald Trump? And how do you think it turned out?
Yeah. What you're saying is that Trump is beginning to pivot. And I think over the next month or two, we're going to see what type of candidate does Donald Trump evolve in as he pivots from the primary to the general. What also we're going to find interesting is that Trump is about to begin to onboard a lot of political consultants and advisors now, much more in greater form than he did in the primary. And as that begins, as these handlers and consultants and strategists begin to get in his head about how to pivot to make yourself more appealing to the quote-unquote general electorate, I'll be curious to see what does Donald Trump begin to do with that. Does he then begin to internalize it and to accept it and to make change on it, or does he stick with his guns and his guts, which has gotten him this far? Because what has worked for him is that he has been off-grid, if you will, and he hasn't done the traditional political things or said the traditional political things that politicians usually do.
Yep.
That's the reason why his demographic loves him. So really what this interview was an attempt to make that pivot, if you will. If you notice throughout the interview, it was a more softer side of Trump. Also in the interview, you didn't get a chance to play it, but he talks about, she asked him, does you have regrets about what you said about McCain and about women and some of the other things he said? And he says, he doesn't necessarily have regrets, but he definitely, looks back, wishes he could have said some things differently, but he said that's how it is kind of in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
So you see this tone changing a little bit. And so I don't know. Like, Donald Trump is this very unusual candidate in the primaries, as I've always said from the beginning, that he would win the Republican primary and become the nominee. So now it's just a matter of who does he become. I think Donald needs to, and I can't believe I'm even giving him advice, but he just needs to stick to his guns and stick to what has made him.
Stay with the formula that made him. Because he also said, if I hadn't acted that way, I wouldn't be where I am now. So what do you think, Karen? I see you.
If he continues to behave the way he has been, we're going to have President Donald Trump. And I don't know if anyone else is uncomfortable with that. I am extremely uncomfortable with it. This is the president that we deserve. We're an idiocracy. Remember this movie where Terry Crews was the president and everybody smart got executed? You know, I feel like that's where we are right now. It's real. It's real. And the more he acts like who he is or who he's shown himself to be, the more people are excited by that. We're in the Kardashian era where you don't have to know anything. Yeah. You don't have to have any particular gift or talent. You just have to be, quote unquote, I'm putting up air quotes right now, authentic and real. And people just gravitate towards it. And he knows how to manipulate the media. Yeah. Megyn Kelly, good example. Yeah. After everything he said about her and did, she's going to sit there and have a civil conversation with him? Mm-hmm. Come on. You are enabling this guy.
Well, what do you think about that, Mike?
Yes, the media, I don't know if the media enables him. I just think that he is such a fascinating political figure that the media is drawn to him because the media has always covered politics in a very traditional manner. They typically know what the candidates are going to say. They typically receive the talking points of the day ahead of time. The media always receives their speeches ahead of time, so the media has a chance to kind of preview their speech and already have their canned questions already asked. With Donald, there is that. There's none of that. And so what happens is there's just spontaneity, and it throws the media off. And the media had always predicted that Donald Trump would never win the nomination. So there's always this fascination with him because he kept going. They're like, but you're not supposed to win. But we want to support these other candidates because the media plays a major role in American politics in terms of how it's favored. We can see that on the other side with Clinton and Sanders in terms of how that's all shaken out and how that's beginning to backfire on the party as a whole. I think Donald Trump's rise, though, is because people are upset right now with the way the media has covered politics, the way that media talks about politics. Yeah. They're upset with the way that the politicians, both Democrats and Republicans, have acted in the Congress and how nothing has gotten passed. So a lot of people believe that his rise is a result of like this anti-Obama movement, but that's really not what it is. When you peel back the layers, it's really in response to Washington isn't doing anything, so why not bring this guy who has his different perspective on it? And we've always talked about politics.
Mike, we got to...
You want to cut me off?
I'm going to go ahead and cut you off. Because I got to get into these other subjects, but you know, when you're not here in the studio, you can't see me give you the wrap it up signal because you
He's passionate. He's passionate.
Yeah, we're mad because you're not here, man. That's all it is. Now, last night, Clinton won Kentucky by a thin margin, and Sanders notched a bigger 53% to 47% victory in Oregon, right? 61 delegates Kentucky had online, and 74 will be divided proportionally among those two candidates based on the results in those states. Now, something else happened, too. Sanders supporters shut down the Nevada Democrats convention on Saturday. It was reported they were flinging chairs and sending death threats to the state party chairwoman. The Democratic National Committee chairwoman did not agree, however. She said, because Sanders accused the state party leaders of ramming through rules that said blocked his supporters and threatened the national party with potentially dire consequences in the general election. She did not agree, likening the violence that took place seen at Donald Trump events. Here's what she told CNN.
The senator's response was anything but acceptable. It certainly did not condemn his supporters for acting violently or engaging in intimidation tactics, and instead added more fuel to the fire.
What are your thoughts on that, Karen?
I think, very similarly to the Trump people, we're in a low information era. People are just they don't know the rules. They don't know anything. So when Bernie Sanders says it's rigged, the system is rigged. They like, yes, and so they get angry, but they don't know. Sanders is an independent running on a Democratic ticket, running on in a Democratic primary with rules. Yeah. And the rules are meeting out. Hillary Clinton is leading based on the rules. Delegates get doled out based on the rules that obviously no one knows what the rules are.
Yeah.
And they didn't read them. So, they're mad. They're angry because they feel like their vote isn't being heard. But the truth of the matter is they don't even know what the hell the process is. So, they're angry over things that they didn't study. And you can't be mad if you play a game, you got to know the rules. And you can't be mad if you're losing when you did not study the rules.
What's your take on that, Mike Muse?
Really quickly, I disagree. I think that they do know the rules. I think they're upset with how the rules got doled out to him. Really, if you listen to what they're upset about is how they feel Sanders was treated again in the media. They were upset about how Sanders wasn't received. They believe the debate system wasn't a fair debate system. I'm sorry, the debate strategy in terms of when the debates happened wasn't fair. There wasn't enough debates early on to kind of recognize who some of the other candidates were. They're upset about that. They're also upset about how the Iowa debate.
Yeah, but we're talking about Nevada, chairs thrown, and death threats over rules.
But I'm just only addressing the fact of what you're talking about. They should have known the rules going in. The rules are what they are, so you can't be mad because of the rules. What I'm saying is that they're upset of how the rules were even executed.
But they were executed before they weren't done haphazardly, Mike. They didn't just start doing the rules as each state went out. These rules have been in place for a while.
And that's the rules. You're talking about the rules of how people get elected in terms
how
of
the delegates in the primary, which primary states are going to be, how many delegates you're going to get for each primary. Those rules were already set.
That's not what they're upset about. They're upset, when you really listen to them, they're upset about how the debate schedule occurred. The Democratic Party has the ability to create the debate schedule accordingly. They feel that the debate schedule was in favor of Clinton. So when you start setting that precedent, they feel like the system was rigged. Again, it's I don't trust the government.
If we're being honest, Bernie Sanders ran because he wanted to get issues on the table, not because he actually thought he could win. And now that they're in this, they didn't really study. Just like Trump didn't run because he wanted to be president, and then it got good to him. If we're being honest, let's be honest. Can we be honest? There's too much at stake here for us to obfuscate what's really happening, right? We, to split hairs. Like, stop.
We have to be honest about what they're upset about too, as well, Karen. You can't dismiss somebody. You can't dismiss this anger that people had and frustrated about process as individuals, both on the Republican and Democratic side, as just not being well versed on the rules or really well versed on the process. That doesn't negate someone's passion, how they feel about the direction they want to take the country,
emotion,
and how in terms of the facts of how the things is being outlined in the system, how it's been in place. They're upset about the debate schedule. They've been upset about this since the beginning. They're also upset about how Iowa happened. There's a lot of the Democratic Party who came out and declared that Clinton had won Iowa even before all the votes were cast. They feel like their system has been rigged from them since the beginning. So you have to really understand what they're upset about. Whether or not it makes sense or not, it really comes down to there is this mistrust of government. There is this mistrust of leaders. So you can't just say they need to know the rules. And if you don't know the rules, you can't be mad. You can't be mad because you're losing. Now, that's not really what they're saying right now. You have to listen to why they're upset, right? And they actually have a valid point to raise if they feel that the system has been rigged, right?
Okay.
I think we can't dismiss that in terms of they're just not educated on the rule process.
Mike Muse, Karen Hunter, I want to continue this conversation. Let's give them both a round of applause. Karen, thanks for coming by,
thank you.
too,
God
man.
bless you. Party at Lincoln app.
Okay, and then tell them how they can reach you, Karen, on social media.
Oh, at Karen Hunter. I am Karen Hunter on Facebook, at Karen Hunter on Twitter, and KarenHunterShow.com.
Okay, and then, Mike, when you come back, I'm going to invite Karen back so we can just have a conversation in person, too, Mike. And then maybe that's about what the question should be, Mike Muse, to continue the conversation online. Go for it.
Yes, you can reach me on all social media platforms at I am Mike Muse. I am Mike Muse, M-U, Essence, and Sam E. And the question is, does the Sanders supporters have a right to be upset? Just let us know your thoughts.
Do the Sanders supporters have a right to be upset? Hit up Mike Muse at I am Mike Muse, man. Man, have fun in L.A., Mike.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, cool. Thank you, Karen, for coming by.
Thank you, Sway.
All right, we got sports up next.
Absolutely, Sway. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals went down last night. I have all the details.
It's Sway in the morning, only
on Shea 45.